Yo, the real Venom is finally here. Hot Toys has just unveiled an amazing new version of comic accurate Venom, and while it's not perfect, it definitely looks great so far. And let's take a closer look and see what Eddie Brock has to offer. Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be diving into the new Venom figure by Hot Toys. Now, this is a new figure based off of the comics costume version of Venom and not a movie version, right? This seems to be using the original body mold from one of the previous Hot Toys Venoms, but comes with this awesome and incredible new paint applications and features along with it, right? Also, it's much more up to scale in terms of the actual size, right? I think this one stands at around 15.5 inches versus the other version, which stood at about 19, right? As you can see here, the 19-inch looked pretty good, but was definitely a little too large in my opinion. It didn't really scale well with any of the other like 1/6 scale Spider-Man figures. And it was also kind of hard to fit in a glass display unless you had one of those larger scaled ones. So I'm really glad that Hot Toys is finally releasing this version because A, it looks amazing. B, it feels badass, and C, it's just comic book accurate. So kudos to Hot Toys for making this amazing figure. And let's get more into Venom details. In terms of accessories, he does come with a good amount for sure, and some of them are just spectacular. These are all essentially new accessories and different than other versions that we've gotten with like Venom in the past. So that's awesome, right? In terms of what actually comes with the set, he comes with two different head sculpts, right? One with the tongue and one without. You also get three different styles of tongues that you can kind of interchange with this kit. You get four different pairs of hand molds and these two different styles of feet. Now, I found these feet to be a little on the strange side, which I'll talk more a little about later in the video. But I personally would have preferred them to be more boot-like and not feet. But we'll again talk a little more about that shortly. Also, you get those awesome symbiote tendrils that you can easily connect to the figure on his back, which is awesome, and that incredible diorama base, right, guys? It looks incredible. I really like how Hot Toys has been adding some of these into their sets lately, and it really adds a higher value sort of collectability function to it, which I really like. Now, unfortunately, it is lacking some symbiote webbing, however. Like, they should have been an additional accessory, in my opinion, that's included some webbing because it's almost like Hot Toys keeps forgetting that this dude swings around like Spider-Man for some reason. So they should have included some black webbing. But nevertheless, he does come with a really great set of accessories so far, and everything looks to be pretty comic book accurate rather. Next, I just wanted to quickly compare this new comic book version to the PS5 version that recently came out right before, right? So as you can see here, Venom does have similar accessories, but they're not as character or comic book accurate, right? And they're definitely not as good. I do like the hand molds though with the symbiote claws. It is a little different. Otherwise, the tongues themselves don't look as highly detailed, as like long. It just doesn't feel as cool, right? The hand molds are also okay. So there's some flavor to it, but not the best. And the tendrils themselves just don't stand out as much. They seem fairly standard and don't feel as symbiotic to me. So and also I think that the head sculpt on them is also not as good, or rather, and this one is not as good as well, right? So this PS5 set really isn't too bad, but it's definitely inferior to the new comic book version for sure, in my opinion. Now, moving on to Venom's designs, here's a couple of different shots of him at full scale. The left one features him with the base diorama. You can see here that the figure itself has some really good articulation to it, and the design goes all the way through pretty nicely, even to his feet and hands. I really like the black paint application that they've used on him, and it gives him like this really awesome symbiotic sort of lifelike look, right? And also the Venom logo on his chest just looks awesome, guys, and it pops out very well in that standout white, while it's also a little faded, which is really good. The one on the right features Venom in a more superhero or superheroic villain type of pose. You get to see the symbiotic tendrils here, along with their tongues and the awesome head sculpt attached to the end, right, which look awesome. I also like how they've added the white boxes back onto the back of his hands, right? Because this is especially great because it's where his webs come out. So I thought, in my opinion, at least, it's important to include that because it's a staple of how he actually swings around. And again, it would have been nice if they included some webbing to it, but nevertheless, it is on point, and glad to add his character mold here. And the only other one thing I want to kind of call out from design is maybe it's maybe missing some blue color shading to him, right? In some versions of Venom from the comic books, sometimes he's more on the blue shade, whereas as you can see in his pic here. So maybe they could have added some blue tint paint application throughout the body, but that's probably asking a little too much on appealing to probably the die hardcore sort of comic book folks are fans, right? Nevertheless, this black looks awesome. The body looks great, and I really like just the paint application on the actual model itself. Moving on to his three interchangeable tongues. As you can see here, Venom comes with three different variations. All three are very detailed and have an incredible red and like black paint job to them. The first one has that tongue that sticks out facing to his right. The second one is facing straight out and forward at you, which happens to be my favorite. And the third is facing out and to the left. So not really much variation in terms of the tongues themselves, but it's great to see that you have the option to change them at will versus it being static, right? Because you want to have different variations, especially if you look at it over time. So it's a really nice little add-on to Venom's kit, and again gives them more options for displays. Next, moving on to the head sculpt. This updated, comic book version is absolutely amazing because the head sculpt itself stands out the most, in my opinion. I really like the look and mold execution here because it's so highly representative of him and the way he looked, right? The eyes came out very well, including that sort of sheen white coloring along with the paint around the eyes themselves, and they look very symmetrical, right, on both sides. They don't feel uneven, and I mean, like, listen, bro, those freaking teeth, right? They look amazing. The closed mouth on the left has a nice clean look to it. Our teeth are evenly placed, and the color changes between the root to the tip look great, but the open mouth with the tongue options and the teeth sticking out on the right hand side is where Hot Toys really knocked that out of the park for me. The teeth again look amazing, and like how they were able to sort of add those extended K9 teeth to his mouth as well, so you can kind of see differences and different layers there, which came out very good. You can also see his like red gums in there. Along, you can really tell that this dude looks like he's rocking some cavities, right? That's how much detail they put into it. And on the head sculpt itself, rather, you can see different texture and mold layers that they use to achieve his grin on the right hand side, and when his mouth opened, which looks incredible. So, really a great job, I think, on the head sculpt, and really like how they include two different ones that you can use and how accurate it is and representative it is of Venom. Next, I want to quickly dive into the diorama base that comes with Venom because sometimes these bases don't come out too well, and they don't also get enough credit, or Hot Toys doesn't get enough credit rather. But this diorama base is incredible and very fitting to the comics version character model himself and how it kind of just stands out, right? I really like how the symbiote tendrils are coming out essentially all around or all on the different sides of the base and extend all the way up to his waist. So there's some good variation there. It doesn't feel too short or too long, right? Also, the color is very similar to Venom's body mold, just a little more sheen. So this hand, in my opinion, just helps it stand out better, especially under a lighted display, right? So your eyes will focus more on Venom for sure, but you really can't miss a diorama base because of the way it's sort of positioned underneath him and the length of the tendrils, which look great. So I really like this base overall, and just the amazing display support it gives Venom for his shelves because it just gives you the extra dimension of displayability. Now, pre-ordering is live on Sideshow site now, and it'll run you about $400. It is expected to ship around Q4 of 2025 to Q1 of 2026. So it'll definitely be a wait before general collectors such as myself will actually ever get our hands on one. There is only one version available, though, at least currently. So at least you don't have to worry about exclusives or special dishes, nothing like that for now. And just this one version, But overall, this is a great figure with an excellent amount of accessories. The price point does sound a little bit strong, but considering the paint details, what it comes with, it's not really too outrageous. I mean, I personally don't have any more Venoms in my collection, but this will definitely bring me back, and I definitely plan on picking this one up. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for joining me today as we explore the new Venom comics version from Hot Toys. Are you a fan of this new figure at all? Do you like it better than the other iterations? Let me know in the comments below what really stands out to you and if you plan on picking him up. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more content and the coolest super collectibles around. Until next time, folks, keep on collecting.